Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a slight tutorial slash my way of using the landscaping tool. So I decided to put this video out in hopes of helping some people out and hopefully get a better understanding of the landscaping tool. So when I do farm builds, sometimes I like to have the farmhouse up on a higher level. So what I do is I usually raise the ground and I try to level it out as much as I can. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for this video, and just kind of my way of how I do this and how it pretty much works out for me. I don't use the slope tool. I don't use that at all. I haven't really messed with it a lot. So what I've done is basically raising the ground, leveling it out, and softening it out. So what I do is I start off by raising the ground. So I'm going to raise up the ground here a bit and place a farmhouse at the top, just as an example. How it seems to be working the best, for me at least, is doing it kind of in like a brush stroke type of way. I'll make a straight, so I'll drag straight across and raise that. So I'll get the brush size that I want and drag straight across. That way I'm, getting a consistent amount of raise throughout the whole time I'm dragging. And with this raise and lower tool, if you have noticed that wherever you click and drag from, it's either going to raise or lower. So if I click and drag from this raised area here towards the left, it's going to raise this ground here. So if we click and drag, we'll notice that it's raising. For the most part, I do big strokes to raise the land here. But I also, when you get spots like, for example, here it's a little bit, there's little spots where it's a little bumpy or whatever. So I kind of just click and drag around to get it as even as I can. So I'll go ahead and make a square area here of the ground lifted, and move on to the next step that I do. So to get as even as a raise as I can, I click and drag, and I try to go right on the edge of the last area that I just raised. So if I go ahead and raise through here, I'll kind of move off to the side a little bit, both sides of it, and raise it. So we see we got a little bump here. What I can do is just click and drag the other way from it, and I'll drag in shorter strokes until I get it as even as possible as I can. And it's okay if I have like a little bump like this area here, if we look at it, because that'll smoothen out with the soften tool. Okay, so I pretty much got all the ground lifted. As you can see, there's it looks a little bumpy where there's some areas that are higher than the other, and this is where the short stroke, technique kind of comes in. What I usually do is I'll go and to where it's lower, and I'll drag towards the higher spots, or I'll drag from the higher spots into these little lower areas. And you can always lower. I tend to not lower the ground when I'm doing this. I usually just raise and smoothen it out as much as I can. So like right here, I'll just kind of drag, click and drag, short strokes. So we got a dip here right in the middle. I'll usually make this brush a little smaller and click and drag from the higher point towards the lowest part of this area here. And from all directions. I like to do it from mostly every direction I can to get the best result. So once I get to a point where it's pretty much the height that I want it and stuff, I go ahead and use the soften tool. Try to soften all the any little higher areas that I left here, but before I place anything down. Once I use the soften tool, I try to get it as smooth as possible for the top part of the lifted area here. I don't really go too much on the sides with the smooth tool, just because I do add usually rock texture or gravel texture, just to give it a little bit more of a more realistic or better look, whichever makes sense, I guess. So there we have it. We have a pretty much leveled out ground as far as we can see. We do have a little bit of dips here and there, but we just pick up the soften tool and level it out as much as we need to. But that's pretty much the technique that I use. It seems to work out pretty good. Like I said, I kind of see it as a brush stroke, and I usually do longer strokes. They seem to work out better for me. But there you have it. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit and makes it a little bit easier to use. It does take some time, I guess, to get used to, but once you get it down, you get it down and start lifting the ground and making it look beautiful. So I hope this helped out a little bit, and that pretty much does it. So thanks for watching.